First, I'd like to announce the grand opening of the AlienScientist discussion forums. I've had many people begging me to add a discussion forum to my website, and I've been working on this for the past month, and I'm finally ready to launch it officially. So as soon as this video ends, please follow the link in the description and register an account with us and make 1 or 2 posts if you can. Any topic you think would be interesting to discuss or you'd like me to make a future video on. I also have some special guests appearing on my forum, experts in various fields related to things I've discussed in my videos. Former Area 51 employee Edgar Fouché is a special guest on my forum, so you have the rare opportunity to directly talk with a former employee of the top-secret military base at Groom Dry Lake and ask him any questions you'd like. We also have Jonathan Cole of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth and creator of the YouTube video series called 9/11 Experiments, a series of excellent videos where he performs and records various 9/11 related experiments in order to prove or disprove some of the myths surrounding 9/11 using the scientific method. I am hoping we can create a place to share and discuss different ideas for future experiments, and maybe get some community involvement with helping to perform some of the more complex experiments. One of the topics on our list of experiments to be performed is to see if thermite or thermate or nanothermite can effectively pulverize concrete. There are many other experiments we will be discussing, and I invite you to discuss them with us and add your own input and ideas. Another of our special guests is Jose Escamilla, UFO investigator and filmmaker. I also have a special guest spot for Frank Znidarsic to discuss his new quantum theory of photon emission and quantization of energy, which explains anomalous low-energy nuclear reactions and gravitational effects in rotating superconductors. Frank just published the first peer-reviewed paper on his theory with co-author Glenn Robertson. I will post a link to that in the description below. In other important news, the 2011 Nobel Prize in Chemistry has gone to Daniel Shechtman for the discovery of quasi-crystals. This is a huge breakthrough as it marks a revolution of scientific thought. Scientists throughout history have been stubborn, opinionated, and often wrong about everything from the shape of the Earth to the motions of the heavens. When Daniel Shechtman first announced his discovery 3 decades ago, he was ridiculed and even lost a research post. Linus Pauling, a colossus of science and double Nobel laureate, even went as far as saying, "There is no such thing as quasi-crystals, only quasi-scientists." The existence of quasi-crystals has since been confirmed, and the once disgraced scientist Daniel Shechtman has now been vindicated. It has also brought some welcome attention to my own work and theories on quasi-crystals, seeing as I've been discussing this topic for a few years now, while most other scientists didn't even know what quasi-crystals were, let alone their potential applications. I can only hope that some of the other topics I've discussed will be next in line for a Nobel Prize. I also would like to point out the fact that Edgar Fouché mentioned quasi-crystals during his 1998 disclosure at the International UFO Conference, during a time when the idea of quasi-crystals was still being ridiculed. And no one could have predicted that they would one day be proved real, let alone become the recipient of a Nobel Prize. To all those people who doubted Edgar Fouché, called him a liar, claimed that he forged all his military documents and made everything up, how do you explain Ed's revelations about top-secret research into quasi-crystals back in 1998? It just doesn't make any sense that he would pick such an obscure topic out of a hat at random. In my opinion, this revelation shines brighter than the 200-plus documents which Ed has provided. Those are documented proof that he had inside access, but the information that he had about quasi-crystals is proof that he had inside knowledge. I will definitely be doing a follow-up video on quasi-crystals to talk about this subject in more detail, so stay tuned for that, or you can check out the quasi-crystal discussion board up at the AlienScientist forums. On to a different kind of revolution, Occupy Wall Street protests are springing up all over the world, and I firmly believe we are witnessing the birth of the next American revolution. A global revolution, really. I encourage everyone to get out there and join the protests, even if it's just to go and pass out some important literature or to donate things to the cause. Every little bit helps. The protests here in Boston are getting pretty intense, as are the ones in New York, D.C., and everywhere else. Things are really gearing up for some big changes in 2012, and like I said before in my 2012 video, it's very important that we all take an active role in creating the type of change we all want to see, rather than sitting back and thinking that it will all take care of itself. There are lots of misled and misinformed people out there, including the people in this movement. So just remember, refusal to participate in politics and political movements such as this is willingness to being governed by your inferiors. The forces that have ruled this planet for thousands of years must be dismantled, and their reign of power must come to an end. I have given you only glimpses of the greatness the future could hold for all of us. A society with anti-gravity, evacuated tube transports, free cold fusion energy from seawater, photonic computers with holographic displays, open communication with extraterrestrials, etc. On the opposite end is a 1984-style nightmarish police state with a corporate oligarchy controlling every aspect of your lives. The reality of our future probably lies somewhere in the middle of these two extremes, but all it takes is a tiny push from someone like you to send it in one direction or the other. Choosing to do nothing is also a decision with consequences. We live in the most important, influential, and most crucial era in all of human history, and it's all going to culminate over the next year or so. Maybe longer. Many of us have spent the last few years preparing for the coming revolution, including the elite 1% who control 99% of the wealth. They really don't want to lose their seat on the throne. In fact, their own documents show us that they seek total world domination. We are the 99% who control 1% of the world's wealth. I understand that the majority of this imbalance is due to the control over energy, primarily oil, which is why I have been working on exposing technologies which could replace these primitive means of combustion and re-stimulate our economy. Unfortunately, there are many obstacles in our way, and it's not going to be an easy transition. Everyone needs to play their part, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to help. My focus is mainly on the revolutions in science and technology, and effectively communicating that information out to the public, mainly through YouTube. Of course, I only discuss the information I know about and feel is the most important, so I rely on my network of supporters out there to provide me with a constant stream of new information. Hopefully, these new discussion forums will provide us with a valuable tool for collecting and sorting through all the information out there. This also gives me the opportunity to communicate with my audience more effectively and make the best use of my time. So please follow the link in the description to the forum. It takes just a few seconds to register an account, and unlike YouTube comments, you can post links, pictures, videos, and more than 500 characters. I am hoping we can create a much more interesting and productive discussion forum than some of the other ones out there, and we currently have a very interesting and unique lineup of special guests. So don't delay. Register right away and start posting new questions or information. Thanks for watching.